Is coming up tonight, a call for Loretta Butler Turner to declare if she will run for FNM Leadership. Police make a $1 million drug bust in the Capitol. A woman found dead and a mother and son in need of help. Welcome to our news. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight in the wake of an announcement by Senator Dr. Dwayne Sands that he and Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner will be challenging opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis and FNM Deputy Peter Turnquest for the party's leadership. Senator and former Attorney General Carl Bethel is calling on Butler Turner to address the matter. He's also voicing his support for Minnis. Dana Smith reports.
Sands said although we've heard from Bethel as to his leadership aspirations, his running partner has been silent on the issue thus far, and it's time for her to speak up.
Sands announced last weekend that he will challenge FNM Deputy Leader Peter Turnquest, while Butler Turner will face off against party leader Dr. Hubert Minnis. However, despite Sands' announcement, Butler Turner has yet to comment publicly on the matter.
Well, I haven't heard any announcement from Butler Turner. I heard an announcement from one Dr. Sands, now Senator Sands. But I think we need to hear from the so-called leader of that ticket. I haven't heard from her.
Sands said there's been a call for a revamped, re-energized, and more aggressive FNM ahead of the next general election, and he believes he and Butler Turner will bring that to the table. But Bethel noted Butler Turner and Sands have run for leader and deputy leader of the FNM respectively before, back in 2014, and lost.
I see they call themselves the Dream Ticket. The last time there was a dream in the FNM, it turned out to be a nightmare for the members of that team. So I don't know what Dreamin' will do for this team. I support Dr. Minnis, have done so since he became leader, and I'm confident that he is the man who has, and the person who has the right vision for where this country needs to go.
Bethel said there are a number of problems affecting Bahamians that have only been exacerbated by what he said are the terrible policy-making decisions of the Christie administration. He said he believes Minnis is the right person to lead the country at this time and will provide the kind of healing leadership the Bahamas needs.
While, I would be supporting Dr. Minnis and Peter Turnquest, his deputy, that's my right. But I wish all FNMs well, and I acknowledge the right of every FNM to follow their star, follow their dream, strive to achieve whatever they can achieve.
The FNM convention is slated for next month. Reporting for Our News, I'm Dana Smith.
Police making a major drug bust this morning at a home just off the Tonic-Williams-Darling Highway. 52 bales of marijuana seized as Drug Enforcement Unit officers conducted their operation.
What is unique here is that you were able to observe the processing of these drugs in terms of breaking it down, ready for street distribution. And I'm sure what you have observed already will recognize the impact it will have on our streets.
In total, police picked up 1,389 pounds of marijuana. That's a street value of $1.3 million. Two Bahamian men ages 41 and 34 were found at the residence and are now in police custody. According to Butler, those men are known to police.
We are certainly looking forward of widening our net in terms of our investigations and bringing more persons into custody based on our intelligence. We feel good about the seizure, and we will continue. We understand the correlations between drug trafficking, drugs itself, and what's happening on our streets as relates to other crimes in terms of murder and other related offenses. And when we are able to stop it at this point, before it actually reaches our communities, we are certainly creating the dent and the impact that we so desire within the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
A woman was found dead in a home yesterday at Dan Nottage Estates. According to police, the woman was found in the bathroom, but with no signs of it being the result of an attack.
Nothing at this stage suggests foul play at this time. So we're going to wait for the autopsy to determine the cause of death. There's nothing at this time, as I said, to suggest foul play at this time.
The woman was said to be visiting from Mayagüana. She's been identified as Shandika Charlton, chief counselor for the Mayagüana district. While this may have been a sudden death and not another murder, CDU Chief Superintendent Clayton Fernandez said police are working tirelessly to rid the streets of crime.
The bottom line is the fear is still out there in the community, and I believe to try to limit the fear of crime within the community, we have to saturate these communities. The presence of the police have to be there, and the response time to any complaint, which will assist to bring in the fear, that presence out there in the community. And we continue to ask and plead to the members of the public to please work with their police.
They say the organization solves a crime every 14 minutes somewhere in the world, and after being basically dormant for a few years, the team at Crime Stoppers in the Bahamas has stepped up its game in assisting police with having criminals caught and bringing them to justice.
In the last, actually, just 25 years, it's not 15 years that we've been around. It's 805 cases we've been helped to solve, and there was approximately $450,000 in property recovered, and there was about $676,000 in narcotics that was recovered by the police due to tips that came through from Crime Stoppers.
Away says the reception they've gotten from Bahamians has been good, but she said it's all about ensuring people trust that their identity would remain anonymous once they call in.
The awareness starts, and then we have to work on the credibility side, by people saying, yes, they've used it, yes, they've tried it, and they actually feel comfortable. Because actually, when you call the numbers, even though they are local numbers, the switching at BTC is actually switched to directly routed, so there is no interception of calls. But of course, that comes with credibility to say that. But you can try it yourself, and you'll see who answers the calls.
So here's how it works. You know of a crime, you call them at 328-TIPS. Someone in Miami, Florida, or Toronto, Canada answers the phone. You get a PIN, and if the info leads to a conviction, according to the Crime Stoppers reps, you can get anywhere between $100 to $1,000. Harry Aldham is another Crime Stoppers director. He said it's not just the serious crimes, but the small ones as well that includes school students.
For example, students who are being bullied, they can also use the service. Yes, it's right there. So the point is, it assists firearms recovery if somebody knows where somebody's hiding a firearm, not necessarily is being used. Like I said, a lot of it is hopefully towards prevention eventually. Get that information there. It's just a tool that the general public can use to ferry information to law enforcement. It could even be to the point of a corporate wrongdoing, that an employee is in a situation that a corporation is doing something wrong, they can report that corporation.
It's not only about crime in the street. We in some countries they even call it an integrity line, where so crime in the workplace can be reported. And in fact, one of our ads, promote calling when they knew people were stealing in the workplace. And generally, we just want to say we would like to see the public and corporate Bahamas support the program much more, because as we say in our tagline, we want to do all of us do our part to stop the crime before it's your time.
Again, the tip line for Crime Stoppers is 328-TIPS. Well, Bahamas Bar Association President Ellsworth Johnson says a serious conversation needs to be had in the Bahamas on decriminalizing marijuana. Year after year, he said, too many men, particularly young men, are brought before a magistrate, often staining their record and their name. But Johnson says regardless of whatever anyone has to say, smoking marijuana has become an activity of leisure in the Bahamas, and laws need to be updated to match.
The reality is, I think with marijuana, is Jamaica is having a lively discussion. America is making monies off it. I will not consume it. There are side effects to it. Most certainly with let's say medical marijuana, it's being prescribed. What do we do with small quantities? I think in terms of small quantities, we have to find a way to regularize it.
Johnson said what's interesting is that not only troubled young men are smoking marijuana, but doctors and lawyers as well.
And we have to stop being duplicitous and dishonest. It's being used not just by the fellas over the hill, It's a recreational drug in certain communities. They're using that. And it seemed to me that only the young fella who's in school over the hill is being brought in.
He said it's a serious thing for the community to decide. Johnson joins the list of others calling for the law surrounding marijuana to be revisited. Democratic National Alliance leader Bama McCartney and FNM Senator Dr. Dwayne Sands have both voiced their thoughts on young men getting a record after being caught with small amounts of marijuana.
I see young men coming who have certain difficulties in their lives and they are experimenting. The question is whether or not we're going to continue to destroy them. I see the magistrates sending young men for assistance from psychologists so they can get some counseling to deal with their issues so that cannot be an opt-out. I think we have to seriously consider the topic. You have to bring it up. You have to discuss everything. Just like we are discussing same-sex marriage, medical marijuana, I think we have to discuss land reformation. The Privy Council have said it over and over. Not just discuss, but take measures to rectify it. Thousands of acres of land in this country is being, people are stealing it daily through quieting people's properties who may not have the funds to come ahead and defend themselves.
A mother is tonight in need of help. 7 years after her only child's life was changed during a car crash, he's left disabled and she's left with hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills. She shared their touching story with our news.
It's rough. It's rough.
23-year-old Ronaldo Gibson isn't able to do much on his own, but with the help of his mother, Jackie Ford, and his grandmother, he takes it one day at a time. In 2009, Gibson was ejected from his mother's vehicle shortly after he collided with another car. That driver, she said, didn't stop. Since then, she says he has been in and out of hospital.
I decided to take him to Orlando. He went to Orlando where he stayed over there for about a month. He was over there for a month and he was hospitalized over there. I was trying to get him to go back, but to no avail for rehab. So right now, Ronaldo was hospitalized again last month. He was in ICU for about a month.
After his last trip to the hospital, Gibson came out unable to move his limbs or speak. Meantime, medical bills continue to pile up.
I have bills in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you know, people see you, you try to fix yourself up, and because you try to fix yourself up, people believe you have it. But people don't really know the in-depth of what you're dealing with.
Because his mother has to work, Gibson's grandmother watches him during the day. She broke down during our interview about her only child. Though it is difficult, Ford said she can't give up on her son. While attending her church's banquet earlier this year, she didn't leave him behind. They were both there, dressed in gown and tux.
No, I can't give up. I can't give up. I have to keep pushing to the end with him because Ronaldo isn't giving up. No longer than, I think it was yesterday I asked him, last night actually, I said to him, I said, Ronaldo, do you think you'll be able to get back to the point where you were before? So he said yes. He can move his lips, but the sound isn't coming out yet. Off and on, you know, I've been hearing his voice, so I know it's gonna come back, you know. But Ronaldo is a fighter. He's a very positive young man.
Gibson was 16 years old when the accident occurred. Ford said her son, who attended Doris Johnson Senior High School, excelled at everything and was very mannerly.
Ronaldo was very active in church. He was in the young adults choir. He read in church when asked to. Very church going, mannerly young man. Not because he's my son or because he's my child. But Ronaldo, he's a very positive young man. And you know, it's sad to see how a lot of disabled persons, other disabled persons like himself, don't get the publicity like they should. Because we have so much other positive young disabled men out there who wants to work, who wants to get out there and do things, but Nobody seems to check. Nobody seems to care.
If you'd like to help, an account has been set up in the name of Ronaldo Gibson and Jacqueline Ford at the Bank of the Bahamas. Ford's mother can also be reached at 393-8555.